Have you ever felt like there's a vivid fire burning inside of you, yearning to break free and illuminate your life? That, my friend, is your vibrant life waiting to bloom. Welcome to the Vibrant Life Podcast. We are here to empower women just like you to liberate that vibrant life, to live authentically, and to harness the power within.
Our journey will take us through the enlightening realms of energy healing, goal setting, spiritual awakening, and so much more. We're stepping into the light of self-acceptance, of owning our power and potential.
If you have been yearning to dive headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship, or awaken your spirituality, or simply make peace with yourself, your search ends here at the Vibrant Life Podcast. As we embark on this enlightening journey together, we promise to hold your hand through every step of your journey to a more vibrant life.
Your adventure to true empowerment and authentic living begins here. Tap into the vibrant life you've always dreamed of. Subscribe now and join us at the Vibrant Life Podcast. Embrace your vibrant self. Until then, shine on.
Shine on.
Welcome back to the Vibrant Life Podcast. I'm Audrey.
And I'm Cassie. We're off to a bit of a rocky start this morning, but I think we're just going to kind of roll with it. So last time we talked about cultivating joy, and we gave you a 28-day challenge plan, whatever you want to call it, to go through, and it had 28 days of mindful practices, and that kind of led into rituals. And as we were preparing for this, we kind of identified that I think of things as more in like rhythms and routines, again probably more analytical because that's what I have to do to keep myself on task. And Audrey, you're much more ritual based.
Yes, I am very, very spiritual. This is very woo-woo, and here's me being my authentic self. I am bringing my whole self to the table. I'm sharing a piece of me that I have kept quiet for probably a very long time.
Yeah, I do want to jump in here about, so you kind of tapped into rituals when you were in a place of overwhelm. Yeah. And it was similar to me. I don't think I called them rituals. And if that's kind of putting you on edge, you'll identify a lot more than you think you will with it. Because I know I have as I was doing this research. But I also, like when my marriage was falling apart, it was like I did these little things that kept me grounded throughout the day. And as we're going through these, I was like, oh, that is a ritual. Like, oh, that does count. It doesn't have to be, super woo-woo, but it can be, and that's great.
It can be, and that's my personality. I am definitely woo-woo.
Yeah.
And you're
and
not
I feel like
so
I
much.
I dip my toe into the woo-woo.
Yeah.
But I know as I have done business things in the past or pursued goals, it does help if you tie rituals to it and you tie the spiritual element to it. Otherwise, it just feels really empty. And so that's something that I've learned over the last few years. So anyway, we'll get back to what you were saying.
I know, but I love that you incorporated it, because then instead of this being a taboo subject, it's a little bit more open. This can relate to a lot more people than what you might think it would relate to.
Yes. And I know personally, like if I was listening to this like 4 years ago and someone says like rituals and spirituality, like my Southern Christian background would be like, ooh, scary, off limits. No, but there's rituals in every religion, every culture, every family has rituals probably without even realizing it. Yeah. So I just ask that you listen to it with an open mind and an open heart, and you might find something really awesome, because I know I do every time I listen to you. So
I love that so much. I also have a Christian background, and I walked away from religion because there were things in place that I had to do something a certain way in order to get in touch with God. And so for me, when I started on the spiritual path, I found that I could connect to God, I could connect to higher source, I could connect to my higher self, I could connect to Jesus in ways that I couldn't do through religion. And so I kind of just started on, and I am so goosebumpy lit up right now, because you can connect however you want to. And so I found ways that worked really well for me through that.
I think maybe we go back a little bit and let's define what rituals are.
Yes. What is a ritual?
Let's talk about what rituals are, because a lot of people, maybe different things come to mind for different people. So really at their core, rituals are just a set of actions that you're doing, and they have symbolic meaning to you or to your community, to your family. So let's talk about the types of rituals, because really rituals are just a set of action that you do that have meaning along with them. So you can have personal rituals, which Audrey's going to talk about. You have familial rituals. So these, think of like traditions, you could call them routines. So like one of the things that I do is we kind of have a set of actions that my daughter and I do every time she comes home from her dad's house. And it's more not necessarily these exact actions. It's just we're trying to create this vibe. We're trying to create like welcoming, calming. We usually do something like movie night. You know, I think we talked about that in another one where we do like popcorn and a little snack and we watch a movie and we get all the snuggles. And I try to not have her jump right into like a big party or something really active, but just we kind of have this ritual of getting back into the house. Maybe you have a Sunday ritual or you call it your Sunday routine. So things that are unique to your family, these could also be around the holidays. So, you know, usually Christmas, New Year's is a big one. Thanksgiving, you have your family holidays or your traditions. You could think of those as rituals, cultural rituals, as well as religious rituals.
Yeah.
So lots of different kinds.
Okay, so now I want to talk about the power of rituals, what rituals can actually do for you. So I'm going to share some of my rituals, but what can a ritual do? It can create some stability for you. So if life is super busy, if you take even just a few minutes to incorporate something that makes you feel good, that allows you to tap into your higher self, it can really add just some of that. It can pull in some of that gratitude and that joyful energy that we were talking about. It can foster connection. So whether that's connection with you or you to your higher self, to your spirit side, or maybe it's connecting you to somebody in your family if you're doing family rituals.
This could even be connecting to past generations. I mean, when we talk about things that are passed down, I think you talked about popcorn for dinner on Sundays. I mean, that connects you to your ancestors. It connects you. And if you go outside of the United States, I mean, my family is a big travel family. And one of my sisters was talking about, you know, walking around these places that are thousands of years old and people are still doing things in the same way. I mean, think of the power that's behind that and the traditions that as people came to America, they brought these traditions to connect them to their past. And then us, future generations, like we don't remember what it's like to live wherever we came from. So it can connect you to your past in a different part of yourself that you don't experience on a regular basis.
That's amazing. And now I want to travel, and I think you should all travel with us.
Woo, let's have a retreat.
Vibrant Life Society, where we're going across the pond. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
I love that. It can infuse purpose into your daily actions. So an example, when I get in the shower, I do Reiki at the end of every shower. So I take a few minutes, I ground into the earth, I cleanse all my energy, and then I save my shower for the end of the day because I feel like I've been in with so many other people's energies. I just kind of need to cleanse my auric field, and that's kind of how I do it. I just let the water wash anything that no longer serves me away, and then I'm infusing purpose into something I'm going to do anyways. So you can do this for lots of things. You can set positive intentions while you're stirring your coffee. So as you're stirring your coffee, you can say, today I will feel joy and gratitude, and I will experience laughter. Whatever it is you're looking for your day, you just take little tiny moments where you can pause and infuse something into what you're already doing. With this, it promotes mindfulness and presence. So we're talking about being here and not being 10 steps ahead of yourself. As a mom, especially, you're like, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. And I found that a lot when my kids were little. I was never right there enjoying the moment because I had laundry to do and I had food to cook, and tomorrow I got to go back to work, and I had all these other things that were listing in my head that I couldn't let go of. And so when you're doing little tiny rituals, and it might just be when you sit down to play with your kids, you say in your head, I am present right now. Nothing else matters.
Oh, I love that. There's a meditation that I do, and I try to do it nightly, but he starts off with like, you know, just be here. Right now, no one needs anything from you. Everyone is fine. No one's requesting things. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I love that. No one needs anything from you right now. And I'm like, it does. It just helps me sink in because I think we're just wired to always be giving to our kids. If someone needs something from us all the time, whether it be our employer, our family, our spouse, or your significant other, if you have one, like we're always being asked to give of ourselves. And so to just take that moment for yourself is really powerful and can really help with your you know, mental and emotional state.
It can help with all the things. And I do want to point out that this, if you're new to this, this is a process of unlearning all the things that you have learned to get to this point. And so it is a process of unlearning, but then once you make that space, that energetic space to bring in some good things, then you can kind of start to slowly trickle these things in, which can make a huge difference in how you feel every day.
Agreed.
That was the last thing on the list.
Oh,
Boosting mental and emotional well-being, because when you do that, it's going to make you just feel a lot better.
Right. So for me, when I was in a state of overwhelm, just my life was overwhelming constantly, having these little checkpoints throughout the day to kind of stop and, just do something little, like you said, stirring your coffee. I don't drink coffee, but for me, it was like grabbing that Diet Mountain Dew out of the fridge and like popping it and just like taking a breath to savor that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be a big thing. But I think we keep coming back to that over and over again. Like, we want you to just start these little steps and they'll grow into bigger things. But those little steps are so important. Mm-hmm. Talk about planting seeds. I mean, they're going to grow into amazing things, but we want that barrier of entry to be so small, because it really can be. It can be something really small, but you're going to see a big impact from it.
Yep. I love that. Okay. So we've talked about what they are, what the power of them, what they can do.
Yeah. So how do you create your own rituals? How do you decide what your ritual is going to be? Whether that be a personal, a spiritual, a familial. How do you decide what your ritual is going to be?
I think you really just have to figure out what resonates, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the rituals that I have in my life now were it was just a period of self-discovery. I had to figure out who I was as a person, which for me at age 34 or whatever, I didn't know who I was. I was always trying to be what I needed to be for other people. And so this might resonate with some of you and it might not, because some people come into this world knowing exactly who they are and exactly what they want and exactly how they want to bring themselves to the table. But for me, it was different. So it was a period of self-discovery. At that time, I was experiencing a time of darkness. We were in the pandemic. I felt like we'd lost all control. So I was scared, like really scared. I started really digging deeper into those questions on what are we doing here? What's happening in the world? Why is everything so scary right now? And I was living with a fear-based life, and tapping into the spiritual side was what allowed me to move past the fear and to begin to do some of these things that we've been talking about in all of these episodes. The first thing I got into was actually tarot cards. And the purpose of the tarot cards for me is it connects you to your higher self. It allows you to get guidance from whatever your soul is on the other side. So the first thing, so I had a tarot reading. I found a podcast and it was called Law of Attraction by Emma Mumford. She was one of the first people that just kind of tapped me into a more spiritual side of life. And she interviewed somebody named Yasmin Bolin, who does a book called Moonology. Fascinated by this woman who works and creates with the moon. So when there's a new moon, it is dim, it is quiet, it is a time for looking inside yourself and figuring out what you'd like to bring into your life. So for me, it's a time to sow seeds. I will write out a list of things I'm releasing. I'm releasing actually from my right side because that's my masculine energy side. And I am bringing back into my life on my feminine side. This is the place that I have space to bring in something new. How is this going? Okay.
Yeah. No, I think it's good.
Okay. I'm getting very much into the details here.
You have a list. This is your first time bringing up that you made a list.
Yeah, I did. I made a list.
So usually I'm the one that's like, list. And you're like, no, I don't do lists. But you made a list.
I do.
And that's exciting to me.
I actually do make lists pretty frequently. Actually, now that you said that, I wouldn't have called them lists before, but I do. I make lists. I make lists of things I'm releasing and things I'm bringing in. So the new moon, I focus on what I want to create. And so with that, I'm working with astrology, with the energy. There's different times of the year for different things to release and bring in. So I kind of go with that. I learned in the beginning that I would be like, ooh, I want this, and I'd be very specific about what I wanted. Over the last 5 years, I've learned that I need to focus more on the feelings of what I want to bring in and the feelings of what I'm releasing. So I started that. I worked with the new moon and then the full moon. So I just found education from all sorts of different platforms, podcasts and books, and just anything that interested me. And it opened up this whole new world of things that I was really interested in. And it gave me my power, because once I discovered the power of the rituals I was bringing into my life, it completely changed my perspective. And so when you change your perspective, I had a fear-based perspective, and then I turned it into one where I know there's a lot of sadness and bad things happening in the world right now, but right now I am so focused on what is here in front of me and doing what I can to help the world where I can, that I don't let the fear guide me any longer.
Yeah, I think the big thing that you said there was like experimenting and practicing. There's no one size fits all ritual, just like there's no one size fits all routine or rhythm, which we'll probably talk about next week. But the thing is, you just got to try it on and listen to your intuition. I mean, we talked about how to tap into that, but really take stock of how you're feeling as you're trying out whatever action you're doing. So you could start with something small with, connecting to your family. So one of the things that I started to do with Gemma was like your high and low of the day. And I know a lot of people do that, but that's a ritual that you can incorporate into your family fabric, and that's going to foster connection. If you're wanting to pick a more like spiritual ritual, you could start with, pulling a card every day, if that's your cup of tea, or you could make a cup of tea every day.
Make a cup of tea, stir your intention into it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things, or if you are wanting for more spiritual, I mean, I know like growing up, the rituals that were talked about were more like prayer could be a ritual. You could say it a certain way. You could have, a journal that you write in, and you go through kind of the same opening lines every time. So you can just do all kinds of different things, really. I mean, we're not here to tell you how to do it. We're just opening your eyes to that you can do it.
Yeah, you got some ideas out there, throw it out there, reach out to us, let us help you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're here doing. Is we've had such a profound journey of spiritual growth and change that we want to help others achieve the same.
Exactly. And also just making it very known or out there that it doesn't have to look the same way. Yeah. And I think that's what's great is, I mean, we are very different people, but we've explored the same things kind of at our own paces, and it stemmed from the same need of overwhelm, fear, feeling stuck, feeling small, feeling scared.
Yes.
To really stepping into our innate badassery. That will always be
innate badassery.
But owning that power, and I think that's such a struggle for women.
Yeah.
I think that goes against a lot of the messages that we're told, and we want that for everyone. I mean, now I can't imagine going back to the person I was at 28 or
never.
The person that I started out as. Like, you couldn't pay me enough to do that. And I want everyone to feel that way. I want all women to feel that way.
Yeah.
And so we're equipping you with the tools that we explored.
Yes.
So whether that be rituals, I am heavy on routines. I'm more analytical. You're more floaty, is what you called it the other day.
Yep, I
am. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And both ways work. And so we want to just give you different viewpoints but equip you how we equipped ourselves.
Yeah. I love it.
So.
I think that sounds like that's a wrap.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All
okay.
Right. See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you for tuning into the Vibrant Life podcast. We hope today's episode has energized and inspired you to live your best life. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so as to never miss an episode. And please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to bring you more valuable content. Remember, your journey to Vibrant Life is ongoing. Stay connected with us on social media at Vibrant Life Society for daily tips, motivation, and community support. As we wrap up today's conversation, we encourage you to embrace each moment, pursue your passions, and prioritize your well-being. Together, let's create a life that radiates with energy and purpose. Until next time, live vibrantly. See you in our next episode.